Hello, there's a quick reply to the Winecone's great video, the YourSpaces, which I've just seen. Great one as usual, mate. Glad to see you're back. I never once for a moment believed that you were dead anyway, but obviously some people did, but good to see you back. Made me laugh as always. My comments on the whole MySpace, I must admit I agree with most of what you said. I think really don't use it very much myself. I just can't get into it. Maybe it's my age, I don't know, because more than YouTube, far more than YouTube, I think it's geared up for younger people as a networking thing. It's great for that, I must admit. That youngsters, kids, I hear kids talking about it all the time, and it seems to be mainly sort of younger people sort of communicating with each other. But as I've said, I actually did a video not long ago about the need to communicate, and I think that's exactly what they're doing there. They just can't bear to be apart from each other. It's great meeting all these people across the world, but if you're not actually going to meet them in person, it does make you wonder what the whole point of it is in the first place. But there you go. The music, yes, I can't understand that at all. That's something that I hate. I love the bits of falling over the chair. Yeah, it does get you like that sometimes. You just forget all about it, put it on, and then suddenly you're blasted by might be a great track, but last thing you want to do is fall over backwards. I know exactly what you mean. That's fine on the music pages. That's exactly what they're for. If you're looking for a particular band, favourite band of yours, or just surfing for new music, which I must admit I do at times, being a big music fan, that's great. That's really interesting to do that, and you're expecting it halfway, aren't you, really? But not on a person's personal site. You're expected to be blasted out of your chair onto the floor, but there you go. The pages themselves I find far too busy. There's bits and pieces going all over the place. I like the illustration of all the little buttons and things, but it can get a bit confusing at times, I know that. But yes, and also one of the things that really annoys me far more than sort of the YouTube side of it is that most of the time the people have got so much information on the pages, they just can't fit it on, and you're forever sort of scrolling backwards and forwards across the pages hoping to actually get the bit of information. You get the page up and you can't see half of what the person wants you to see in the first place. So I tend to just sort of go away from that, forget. I think it's not worth it. I must admit, I've got my own page. I thought, well, this seems to be the big thing to do, so I set up a page, but I just never get around to sorting it out. I much prefer the YouTube, the whole sort of community thing. One thing with the YouTube is that you can see the person, hear the person, get an idea from what they're saying and what they're doing and what they're showing, what they're creating even. Far more idea of what they're like. You can hear them speak, etc. so far. But I mean, I don't think MySpace is good, very worthy. It's there, it serves a purpose. But I'm always a bit wary about anything that the news corporate, also the News International, are involved with. Mr. Murdoch, he paid a lot of money for that site. I've forgotten how much it was, but it was a lot of money, and he's going to make a lot of money out of it some way. He must think that there's a reason. He hasn't paid that amount of money for nothing. I said I find all the adverts a bit intrusive as well. I know we get adverts on YouTube, but they're nowhere near as intrusive, and that's one of the things I like about the YouTube site itself, is that it's still free, isn't it? I know they're doing deals with music companies and things like that, put free videos up, but that's not a bad idea, as long as we don't get all these adverts flying all over the place, because I hate that. I don't watch a lot of TV, and that's one of the reasons, because I just don't watch the adverts. And I know over here in the UK, some of the sort of commercial TV stations, we're lucky enough to have the BBC, which don't have adverts apart from their own ones, which for their own programmes, and they're getting a bit intrusive, but that's slightly off the point there. But people are turning away. They get special, your TiVos and your Sky boxes and things like that you have, which edit out adverts. That's great, and so the advertisers aren't getting their worthwhile bit of money out of it, aren't they? So anyway, rambled completely off the point there. So but good video as always. I'm glad to see you back. Hope to see plenty more in the future. Thanks very much. Goodbye.